In the seventh year of our relationship, my fiance's personal assistant sent me a photograph of them obtaining their marriage license. Looking at the picture, I calmly ended things with my girlfriend. The assistant called with a trembling voice, begging me not to be angry. He claimed it was just a prank photo with Isabella, who was under tremendous work pressure, and pleaded for my understanding. He insisted everything was his fault. On the other end of the phone was Isabella, speaking in a tone she'd never used with me before. Darling, don't get upset. No need to explain anything to him. Where's he going to go after leaving me? I didn't respond. I simply discarded the engagement ring and picked up my acceptance letter. I booked a flight overseas and turned off my phone, quietly beginning to pack. Isabella didn't come home that night. She stumbled in the next morning, reeking of alcohol. Seeing me on the couch, she commanded in her usual authoritative tone, "Make me some hangover remedy." I glanced up without responding, continuing to pack my belongings. Seeing me ignore her, Isabella approached with a frown. "Michael, are you deaf?" Noticing my packed luggage, she paused. Then her expression darkened. "What's this? You actually plan to break up?" Without looking at her, I replied calmly, "Breaking up isn't something to joke about." Perhaps it was my composed demeanor that made Isabella's gaze turn icy. She kicked over my suitcase and looked down at me. "Have you had enough of this tantrum?" I glanced at her, a mocking smile on my lips. "A tantrum? You went and married someone else. Why would I listen to anything you say?" Isabella looked even more impatient. "Haven't I explained? It was just for show. Ryan has cancer. He wanted to give his parents some comfort before he passes. You know he's been with me since graduation, more than an assistant, a friend. Why shouldn't I help him?" Her tone sounded condescending. "It's fine. Once he's gone, we can get the license again." I waved my hand, interrupting her ridiculous explanation. "Enough. There's no need to tell me. You have a husband now. Discuss things with him." Isabella's expression turned cold again. "In the end, you're just heartless and don't trust me. If that's the case, we shouldn't get married." Her tone was threatening, but I was unfazed. "All right." Isabella was taken aback, disbelief in her eyes. "You're serious?" I didn't answer, just picked up my suitcase and started to leave. As I passed Isabella, she suddenly grabbed my wrist, her words icy. "Think it through. Without me, you're nothing." I looked into her eyes. This person I'd loved for 7 years. Only coldness and disdain remained now. It hurt, no doubt about it. I took a deep breath, smiled, and gently pried her fingers off. "I wish you both happiness." With that, I walked out without a backward glance. Before I closed the door, I heard Isabella's furious voice behind me. "Michael, don't think you can come crawling back. Let's see how far you get without me." I stopped and turned around, not out of regret or longing. I just wanted to see the face of the girl I once loved so deeply, now so loathsome. Isabella stormed to the doorway, gave me a cold look, and slammed the door with a loud bang, loud enough to express her anger. At the entrance to the apartment complex, I ran into Ryan. I didn't need to ask. I knew he'd brought Isabella back. He was probably waiting for us to fight so he could play the caring role. He lowered his window, glanced at my luggage, and smirked. "Oh, isn't it Michael? Got kicked out by Isabella, huh?" I gave him a cold look, ignoring him, but he blocked my path, grinning mockingly. "Good riddance. You're too old for her anyway." I stopped, taking in his smirk, and laughed. "Yeah, I'm not a match for her. Someone like you, living off her, is just perfect." His expression changed. "You..." I kicked him hard in the stomach and walked away without looking back. Trash doesn't deserve courtesy. That night, I found a hotel to stay in. Lying in bed, memories flooded back. Isabella was once my everything. Unfortunately, she was a high and mighty princess, while I was just a regular bookworm. We met in college, though we didn't interact much. Like all the guys who liked her, I just watched her from afar. Followed her to class, out of class, to meals. In the end, I even switched majors just to be around her more. Until today, I'd never regretted that decision, because that's what led us to get closer. I got picked by Isabella for a project because of my good grades. I remember being so nervous that I stammered, finally blurting out, "I do." Isabella laughed, her eyes crinkling. "Sounds like you're taking wedding vows." Everyone teased me. I looked down, embarrassed, but happy she didn't mind. She even helped me out. Don't tease him. Michael's so talented. I'm the lucky one to pair up with him. After that, our relationship grew. When I confessed my feelings, she agreed without hesitation. We spent the college years as the couple everyone envied. I had excellent grades and got offers from international companies as soon as I graduated, even a scholarship to study abroad. But I turned them all down for Isabella, starting at her family's company from the ground up. She also fought with her family to be with me, struggling for a space for us under her family's pressure. Sometimes I still can't make sense of it. Why Isabella and I ended up like this. I mean, we both had the same goal, to provide each other with a stable future. But ever since Ryan showed up, everything changed. He's younger than me, more energetic, and better at making people happy. At some point, our conversation shifted from sharing everything with each other to her talking about little details with Ryan first. I was angry, jealous, but after a few arguments with Isabella, seeing her indifferent expression and hearing her say I was making a big deal out of nothing, I got it. Her heart was no longer with me. It's not so much Ryan's presence that bothers me. It's Isabella's carefree attitude that breaks my heart. No matter what reason I give to try to hold on to her, as soon as Ryan says something, she'd rush to him. She gave all her feelings for me to him. After 7 years, all she has for me is coldness and complaints. Still, I proposed to her. I thought maybe once we got married, she'd change. But seeing that marriage certificate with her name and another man's was the final straw. Looking out at the night skyline, I suddenly felt at peace. They say there's a 7-year itch in relationships where things just get stagnant. Maybe this is where Isabella and I end. The next morning, I went to the company to resign. Honestly, it was just for show. My authority had long been undermined there. They didn't even question my resignation and approved it. Afterwards, the HR director called, pretending to be concerned. "Too bad, Michael. We were looking forward to your wedding with Isabella," she said in a tone dripping with sarcasm. I just smiled, unbothered. "Don't worry, you'll get your invitation soon." Before I even left the building, Isabella called. "Michael, enough is enough. I rejected your resignation. You better stop or you won't get a penny and I'll kick you out." I chuckled coldly. 7 years together? Did she really think I was there for wealth? That money could sway me? "Do whatever you want. I don't care," I replied and blocked her. Silence was bliss. I submitted my resignation again, and Isabella agreed without hesitation. Once I got my papers, I left without looking back. That night I slept better than ever, with no worries about Isabella, the company, or anything else. Early morning, a loud ring woke me. "Michael, what's your problem?" "The project signing is today. You better be there," Isabella barked over the phone. I shook my head, waking up fully. Holding back annoyance, I moved the phone away and waited for her to finish. Then I said slowly, "Ms. Crawford, you must have forgotten. I quit yesterday, and you agreed. So what does your project have to do with me?" "Michael," she snapped, her voice full of anger. "I warn you, don't make me use legal means. Your resignation may have been accepted, but we haven't finished the handover. I can sue you if you don't show." I wasn't playing her game. I coldly replied, "Don't try to threaten me. If you'd read my resignation properly, you wouldn't be wasting your time talking to me." With that, I hung up. I didn't expect to run into Isabella so soon after I quit. Several companies reached out offering opportunities. One came from a company's boss inviting me to dinner. Couldn't refuse, so I went. The boss was generous, booking a high-end hotel. But as soon as I arrived, I saw familiar faces from my old company filling the lobby. I realized the hotel was owned by my previous firm, and Isabella's project was likely there. As I hesitated, Ryan appeared out of nowhere, blocking my way. "Isn't that the loser?" he sneered, challenging me. "What, got cold feet now?" I shot him a cold glance and smirked. "I guess I didn't beat you enough last time. Coming back for more?" Ryan's face fell. He backed up a bit, humiliated. "Michael, don't think you're all that," he barked. "Isabella's my wife now. You're just a useless failure." I ignored him, pushed past, and entered the hotel. Ryan was yelling about calling security, causing a scene. People were staring. I waved casually, acknowledging them, then proceeded upstairs. The boss had reserved a room on the second floor, but someone clearly didn't want me to leave easily. Michael, stop right there. Isabella stormed up in her high heels, looking me over with disdain. On a day like this, you show up dressed like that? Even if you don't care about embarrassment, I do. She told her assistant to take me for a makeover, but I shrugged them off, amused. Isabella, how many times do I have to tell you? We quit. We have no ties. I'm here for a meeting, not your charade. What I wear is none of your business. Isabella was taken aback, almost reflexively mocking. Meeting? Someone here? As if you... She paused, realizing her words. As an unwanted son-in-law, I really didn't belong here. I didn't bother explaining, turned around and headed upstairs. But right then, another voice stopped me in my tracks. Hey, Michael! Long time no see. I turned around, and a chubby middle-aged man was warmly approaching. It was Thomas, the president of Sterling Group and one of today's main figures. The project Isabella mentioned was this collaboration with Sterling Group. Thomas, long time no see. I walked over, and after a brief chat, Thomas suddenly turned and looked at Isabella. I trust Michael completely. I can sign the project contract today, but I have one condition. Michael must be in charge of our projects moving forward. Hearing this, even Isabella froze in disbelief. She quickly shook my hand. Thomas, that's not right. I was about to say that I'd already resigned, but Isabella pulled me back with a sly smile aimed at Thomas. No problem, Thomas. We can definitely do that. She grabbed my arm tightly. Michael, you better cooperate with me, she whispered with a no-nonsense warning in her tone. I gave a snort of laughter and shook off her hand. With Thomas and everyone else looking on in confusion, I spoke up loud and clear. I'm sorry, but I won't be participating in or collaborating on this project. I submitted my resignation yesterday, and in the future, I have no ties with Isabella's company, and Miss Isabella has already registered marriage with her assistant, which means she'll have nothing to do with me from now on. I gave Thomas an apologetic smile. Sorry, Thomas. Looks like I won't be able to work with you anymore. Isabella stood there in shock, not expecting me to draw such a hard line. Thomas's expression turned slightly grim. Isabella, is what he's saying true? For a moment, Isabella seemed at a loss, and Ryan hurried over, all flattery. Thomas, don't worry about it. This guy's just a freeloader. What you're interested in is Sterling Group's strength. I'll take full charge of the project now. Thomas looked at him, then at Isabella, his eyes filled with disdain and amusement. A pretty boy trying to negotiate with me? Isabella, your humor sure is something. Thomas led his team out, but before leaving, he took my hand and said if I ever needed a job, they'd consider me first. I nodded and agreed, smiling. Once Thomas's group left, Isabella couldn't hold back and came rushing over, ready to slap me. Michael, you jerk. Do you know how much you've cost the group with your little stunt? I grabbed her wrist and pushed her away coldly. Isabella, being pampered all her life, had never been treated like this. She looked at me with anger and disappointment. I spoke calmly. I've told you, I've resigned. I have nothing to do with you or your company. Everything that happened today is due to your blind arrogance. It's none of my business. After that, I turned and headed upstairs, avoiding any more tangling with them. In the private room, I was getting along great with the person in charge, but considering future collaborations with Sterling Group, which would inevitably involve Isabella again, I declined the boss's enthusiastic invitation. As the evening ended, I was at the door seeing the boss off. However, looking back, I noticed Isabella still sitting in the corner of the lobby. Ryan was squatting by her side, seemingly arguing about something. I wasn't interested and was about to leave when Isabella suddenly spotted me. Michael, wait a second. She hurriedly came over, grabbing my sleeve with a pouty face. Michael, please don't be mad. Come home with me, okay? Didn't we promise to get married? Ryan followed, looking uneasy, his face going pale. Isabella, I feel terrible. Can you take me to the hospital? There was a flicker of conflict in Isabella's eyes, but she steeled herself and ignored him, looking at me with hope. Stop this. I know I was wrong. There was nothing between me and Ryan. It's just a joke. Ryan looked shocked, disbelief written all over his face. I sighed. Why, Isabella? You've got a husband now. Watch what you say. But Isabella acted like she didn't hear, clutching my hand and droning on about the past. I suddenly felt fed up and shook off her grip. Just because you're shameless doesn't mean I have to be too. Isabella, you're the one who got registered with someone else. I let you be, but now you're pointlessly dragging me into this mess. What do you want? Not everyone has to live on your whims. The cold demeanor made Isabella realize I wasn't joking. Panic flashed in her eyes. She quickly said, No, Michael. I've always loved you. If you want, I'll divorce Ryan immediately. Her voice choked with emotion, eyes red with tears, made her look strange to me. I stared at her blankly, feeling nothing. Once upon a time, even a slight frown from her would worry me for days. Now her actions only annoyed me. She's not heartbroken over losing me, but over losing a servile companion to boss around. Enough, Isabella. Stop bothering me. If you really care, look at your poor new husband. She remained unresponsive, just hung her head, sobbing about it not being true over and over. My only husband is you. Can only be you. I know I was wrong. From now on, I'd lost interest in listening. If she'd said that earlier, I might have risked everything for her. Now it's just irritating. I shrugged off her hand coldly. Save it. Think about how to deal with today's breach of contract. Such a big project delay will definitely hit the group hard. Isabella naturally understood. While she hesitated, I turned and strode away. But I underestimated Isabella's persistence. It wasn't long before she found out where I lived and was waiting at the entrance. I was going to ignore it, but as soon as she saw me, she ran right over, trying to hug me. I coldly sidestepped. Miss Isabella, why are you here again? I was getting a bit impatient. Isabella looked up, her eyes meeting mine, speaking sincerely. I thought about it. My dad's handling things at the company, so I don't need to worry. But you're the most important person to me. I didn't say anything, or maybe it was that I didn't know what to say. She thought I was agreeing with her and cautiously leaned closer, trying to hold my hand. Michael, I twisted my ankle trying to find you. I sneered, looking at the figure behind her. If you twisted your ankle, you should see a doctor, or go complain to your real husband, not me. Hearing my words, Isabella's expression nearly cracked. She turned and saw Ryan looking hurt not far behind her. She shouted in frustration, I told you to stop clinging to me. Aren't you done yet? Then she turned back to me, softness in her eyes. Michael, I'm planning to divorce him. I've really realized my mistake. Can't you feel how much I love you? I took a good look at her. Her love was there. Even love for me. I didn't think so. As the eldest daughter of the Crawford family, she's used to being the center of attention. She can't handle my constant rejections, especially since I used to be her plaything. She tried to conquer me, but if she succeeded, I'd end up like Ryan. Something tasteless to her. Your husband's still here? Shouldn't you be comforting him? After all, you guys have a marriage certificate, I said with a sarcastic smile. Ryan had already moved to stand behind Isabella. Upon hearing my words, he embraced her from behind. Isabella, come on. Let's go home, okay? Isabella tried to struggle. I coldly added, Isabella, stop bothering me. You made your choice. Now deal with the consequences. From now on, I don't want to see you. Maybe my words hurt her pride because her face shifted from hurt to anger. She turned back to Ryan and shot me a dark, disdainful look. Michael, if you don't appreciate my kindness, don't blame me when you come begging. I just laughed and shook my head, completely uninterested. News about the breach of Isabella's company had spread, especially her affair with her assistant. It became public gossip. Inevitably, as her ex, I got dragged into it too. My phone blew up with calls from tabloid reporters. I had no choice but to go to the phone company and cancel my number to get some peace. But just a few days later, Isabella returned, bringing her family's bodyguards to corner me at my apartment entrance. She even threatened that if I didn't go with her, she wouldn't let me leave the building. Reluctant to cause trouble for the neighbors, I frowningly got in the car with her. Isabella, are you done causing a scene? I questioned. Despite a flash of annoyance, Isabella's expression quickly turned calm. Michael, I'm here because of my father. He's in the hospital and wants to see you. Her tone wasn't arrogant like that night, but rather pleading. I shrugged it off and leaned back in the car, closing my eyes to rest. When we reached the hospital's premium room, I saw Isabella's father. Once a commanding man, he now lay pale and lonely in the hospital bed. Dad? Isabella called softly. I brought Michael. Isabella's father opened his eyes, his gaze sharp, exuding an intense sense of authority, even in such a state. I marveled at how even Isabella, so domineering with me, was now submissive, fiddling nervously with her clothes. It was her little nervous habit. In the past, I might have comforted her, but times change. I didn't need to play along anymore, so I casually sat on the sofa and crossed my legs, smirking. What's the matter? Isabella's father's gaze froze for a moment. Then he spoke flatly. You should know that the company's stocks have plummeted. I chuckled, but said nothing. His expression darkened. I called you here to discuss marrying Isabella soon. That way we can go ahead with the deal with Thomas. It benefits both of us. He sounded weak due to his condition, but his disdainful, commanding tone was clear. Since he found out I was dating Isabella, he did all he could to stop it, thinking that as a poor guy from the countryside, I was after Isabella's family's wealth. To this day, he still thinks the same. I laughed, now understanding their game. Failing to mend bridges with Thomas after offending him, they'd turn to me once they learned of Thomas's favorable opinion of me. I'd been a pawn to them all along, with no rights of my own. I've arranged for her to divorce Ryan. As long as you agree, you can marry my daughter right away. Isabella looked at me with teary eyes, hoping I'd nod in agreement. I looked her straight in the eye, speaking slowly and clearly. Sorry, I don't want anyone's leftovers. As soon as I finished, Isabella's father's face darkened, and he slapped her hard. Shameless thing, stirring up such a mess for a pretty boy, and always making a fuss with me? Don't you see your worth? Ignoring his underlying insults, I just smiled, not bothering to respond. Isabella held her reddened cheek, staring at me, clearly hoping I'd say something. I stayed silent, just observing coldly. Then I snorted, got up, and left. Feeling his pride wounded, Isabella's father could no longer maintain the pretense, leaping from bed and hurling insults at my back. As I left, I ignored him entirely, treating it like a dog barking. I just didn't expect Isabella to leave her dad and chase after me. What's up? I asked, feeling pretty impatient. Isabella, choking back tears, said, Michael, I divorced Ryan. There's nothing stopping us now. Won't you marry me? I don't say a word, just stare at her coldly. My meaning is clear. Isabella starts crying, shaking her head. No way. You didn't used to be like this. Is there really no chance for us? You know I love you. But I don't love you anymore. I cut her off. I don't believe you. Isabella gets more emotional. I don't believe you, Michael. You used to love me so much. Did you forget? She's yelling at me hysterically. It's hard to believe this was once the cool and composed CEO. I smirk, looking at her without any feeling. You said it yourself. That was before. The Isabella I loved is gone. My words hit Isabella like a thunderclap. She shakes her head furiously, still trying to make a case, but I'm out of patience. I don't want this back and forth or hear any apologies. I push her away and walk off. She collapses, crying hard. After that day, we cut all ties, though the buzz about Isabella's company going down makes headlines. To pay off a huge penalty to Thomas, she tried to cut costs by downsizing. The whole company got in a state of panic, and the bad news just flooded the media. If her family didn't have such strong roots, it could have been a total disaster. But I didn't feel much about it. Isabella got herself into this mess. Meanwhile, Thomas reached out to me again with a solid offer. I was tempted, but knowing I'd have to deal with the Crawford family, I turned it down. I contacted my college mentor, asked about studying abroad. He was really pleased, since he was pretty disappointed when I gave up a big opportunity for Isabella. Seeing me get back on track now, he's very supportive. Michael, you're young. It's time to work hard. After retaking exams a few times, I got accepted into a famous school abroad. To celebrate, my mentor organized a reunion with old classmates. I ran into Isabella again. In just a few months, she was almost unrecognizable. Isabella broke the awkward silence. "Hey, long time no see, Michael." She gave a smile, but it seemed a little forced. I nodded, didn't say much. Her eyes dimmed. "I must look terrible now, right?" "Not too bad. Just a bit tired," I answered honestly. Her eyes welled up again, colors of hurt and longing in her voice. "Michael, I thought I'd never see you again." She stepped close, almost touching me. I frowned and stepped back. Talking is fine. Standing so close, people might get the wrong idea. My action and words startled Isabella. Her eyes were full of sorrow. I got annoyed. Who was she putting on this show for? "If there's nothing else, let's go inside. The professor is waiting." I tossed these words over my shoulder and brushed past her. When people heard I got into a top school abroad, they raised their glasses to me. After a few rounds, I was getting buzzed. My mentor, not much of a drinker, left early. I understood he was giving us space. With him gone, folks loosened up more, chatting and drinking about different topics. Someone brought me into the conversation. I answered all the questions. Then the unavoidable topic of me and Isabella came up. In college, we were the golden couple. I frowned, picked up my drink, then spoke once everyone was looking. "Isabella's a rich girl, not someone I can match. Thanks to our past, I've become a better person." Then I downed my drink. People sensed it was a tense subject, so the conversation shifted. Still, some wouldn't let it go, pushing for Isabella and me to play a couple games. Seeing me set down my drink, refusing to partake, Isabella tried to help me out, yet the others kept pressing. Isabella sighed, sitting next to me. Almost instinctively, I stood up. Isabella seemed tipsy, stumbled, and grabbed me. Folks shouted, "Kiss! Kiss!" A gleam flickered in Isabella's eyes. She actually leaned in for a kiss. I lost it, shoved her away. "You've had enough." My sudden outburst froze the crowd. The room grew tense. I ignored it, stared Isabella down. "You know full well why people are joking around. Are you seriously unclear about our situation?" Isabella bit her lip, looking pitiful. I had no pity. I said louder, "We broke up because she married someone else." The crowd buzzed with chatter. I didn't bother sticking around, just said I was drunk and left. Isabella wouldn't let up, chasing after me. I couldn't believe how clingy she'd gotten. I missed her cool demeanor. I stopped, turned, gave her a cold stare. "Are you done? With a husband and everything, now, isn't this beneath you?" Isabella stopped, tears flowing. "I know you're leaving. I just wanted to see you a bit more." My heart didn't stir. When we were together, she didn't treasure it. Now she's acting all lovey. For whom? Besides, I saw the photos Ryan sent a month ago. They had patched things up, so why is Isabella bothering with me? "You have someone. A spouse? Shouldn't you stick by that?" She shook her head, all riled up. "No way. This is completely over between him and me." She frantically explained. "That's when I found out from the very start. Ryan faked his illness. He was never sick. He just wanted Isabella's sympathy to steal her away from me." Watching her tears streaming down her face, her whole body trembling, I felt no sympathy. Yeah, Ryan is a jerk, but all his excessive behaviors couldn't have happened without Isabella's consent. So rather than saying Ryan deceived her, it's more like she willingly let him deceive her. But now everything's said and done. Why bother arguing about who's right or wrong? "Isabella, let me go and let yourself go too. Wouldn't it be better to end things gracefully?" The next time I saw Isabella was the day I boarded my flight. She was wearing a mask, walking behind me, thinking I didn't know. I just played along, headed into the lounge. She sat right behind me. I pretended not to notice, wearing headphones, quietly waiting. Before leaving, I got a call that totally surprised me. It was from Isabella's dad. His tone had turned extremely polite, full of flattery. "Michael, come back. I apologize. Can you give my daughter another chance? I know I wronged you back then. Wronged you both. But now I've seen your capabilities, how you've cared for her. Now that you're gone, she's been miserable every day. As her father, it's heartbreaking. So I'm begging you, for old time's sake, give my daughter one more chance. I got up and looked directly at Isabella. Isabella, I won't repeat myself, so listen up. From now on, I am a stranger to you and to your family. I walked to the boarding gate, glanced back casually. Isabella was sobbing, collapsed on the floor. I didn't look back, didn't turn around. Not until I was on the plane, looking out at the blue skies and white clouds, did my thoughts finally come. I deleted all the contacts related to Isabella. After the plane landed, staring at the completely unfamiliar surroundings, a tinge of unease crept in, but it was quickly replaced by excitement. "You're Michael." A young, vibrant girl ran up to me, holding a sign. "I'm Sarah. I'm here to pick you up." I reached out my hand with a smile. "Hi, Sarah." In the days abroad, I threw myself back into my studies. Those messy thoughts in my heart slowly faded away amidst the busy coursework. When I almost forgot the name Isabella, one late night I received a call from across the ocean. "Is this Michael?" "Yes, it is. I'm Isabella's lawyer. She passed away at 3:10 p.m. New York time. Before she died, she entrusted me to pass on a message to you." Before I could respond, Sarah, who had just finished her shower, came over, towel drying her hair. "Honey, who's calling so late?" I smiled, giving her a reassuring look. "Don't worry, it's no one important." With that, I didn't give the caller a chance to speak. "Drop it. I don't want to hear it," and hung up decisively. Sarah snuggled into my arms, her eyes filled with affection. "Honey, let's visit my parents tomorrow. They want to meet you." I smiled and gently tapped her nose. "Sure. If you like this incredible story, please like and subscribe to the channel to see even more of it.